Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my first ever fitness focused video. I've been thinking about planning in my head really so many different ideas that I could do for YouTube videos when it comes to more fitness focused content, but unfortunately I just haven't actually sat down to do it. So I thought, why not today do my first video, which is just a sit down chit chat video where I'm just gonna kind of go through my fitness journey and explain just kind of where I'm at with my fitness journey. I recently was just off from the gym for 4 months and I'm kind of getting back into it. So I think that's also another reason why I've kind of been like stuck on what to post really, because I'm kind of in this space where I'm figuring out my fitness routine and my goals when it comes to fitness, but I'm also not necessarily a beginner in the gym. So it's this weird space that I'm in. So I just wanted to like have a sit down video, talk about the history of my fitness life and where I'm currently headed towards or what my current goals are. So thinking back, I've honestly been going to the gym since I was old enough to. Once I was old enough, I would go as a guest with my stepdad or my mom. And at that time, it was really running or legs. So my stepdad was always really big in running. So that just kind of brought down to the rest of the family, me, my sister, So I would go to the gym. I would always run. And then I would do some sort of leg workout, whether it was like leg press, quad extension, squats. No matter what it was always leg focused. And it was like that for a while actually. So once I got my license, I ended up getting my own membership at Planet Fitness, and it was still more so, okay, let's go for a run or let's work out our legs. I feel like it was very driven towards sports. I played soccer and it was like, oh, I need to have these strong legs for soccer. So it was just always one or the other was my entire workout routine. Gym class in high school, I did the fitness class that you could do instead of doing the like regular just gym class where you play like different games and stuff like that. I did the fitness one. So I always had a love for fitness, but I didn't necessarily have a lot of information behind fitness or like quite understand really what you should do or how you should do it. It was just, oh, I've always gone running growing up, so I need to keep going running. And if not, well, then I need to keep my strong legs, right? That was like my signature, like strong quads and calves, like I can never lose that. College, freshman year was still the same. I lived on campus. My building that I lived in had a small little fitness room, which was just enough for me because all I worked out was my legs anyways, right? And I would run around on campus. I would just run outside. That's what I did at home. That's what I'll do on campus. So freshman year, nothing changed at all. And sophomore year, which we'll say 2018 going into 2019, was honestly where I felt like I saw the biggest change. I was no longer living on campus, so I now was commuting. I also had 2 jobs. So I feel like there was a lot of change going on from obviously like your freshman year, fun parties, living on campus with your friends 24/7 to now like sophomore year was kind of more adjusting to like, okay, let's start adulting. And I think that's when my gym life started taking a turn too. I feel like it was a universal thing that a lot of girls, a lot of people could relate to was the booty workouts. Instagram had all their booty influencers. Everyone had a booty program. Everyone wanted to grow their glutes. And obviously me being a 19-year-old college girl, of course, I want to grow my glutes too. And that's when my fitness life took a turn and I was now focused on legs still, but now solely my glutes. Looking back at it now, honestly, doing those glute programs that I would like see on Instagram and buy and stuff like that, honestly did have such an impact in my fitness journey, simply because even though I was working out my legs before in high school and stuff, it was very basic movements. Like it was always a back squat. It was always a leg press. I never did any sort of hip thrust, never did any sort of like RDLs or deadlifts or anything like that. Those things were never introduced to me until I actually started this like glute focus workout session of my life. So honestly, even though looking back, it's like, okay, I still only worked out and cared about my bottom half of my body. I still learned so many new things when it came to like different types of lifts. So we're still thankful for that part of my journey. It still helped out some way or another. No longer cared for running. I no longer cared for any sort of cardio. I was like, okay, well, all the girlies want to grow their glutes. I'm going to grow my glutes too. And I would just purchase program after program after program. I looking back, like the amount of money, like how much money I spent on like a glute guide from Instagram. Like I know people could relate to me, but it's just embarrassing. That was life from like 2019, obviously, to the beginning of 2020. And then we have COVID. Thank you, COVID, for one thing, and that was for opening my eyes to a different form of training. And I think that was because I feel like so many people could relate. We were forced almost to adapt our training that we were doing before quarantine and start doing new things. So like you were forced to pick up something new. So a lot of people never really cared for running, but they didn't have anything else to do except maybe go outside and run. Like you wanted to be outside, you were stuck inside all the time. So like a lot of people picked up running. A lot of people picked up like a yoga too. Like I was definitely kind of like one of those, but not really. We did have like a basement with our makeshift gym. It wasn't anything fancy, but we had like a bunch of dumbbells. We had like a bench, jump rope, a weighted vest, you know, we had like the treadmill and a bike. So, you know, like we were trying to work around this not being able to go to the gym thing. And I definitely during that time started trying out new ways of training. And this like glute focus idea was like completely out the door now. And I was doing so many new things. Like I had a goal of like getting my headstand. So I was doing headstands all the time and stuff like that. I jump roped so much. That was a huge thing right there for me. That was my intro to jump roping. I was always doing my jump roping every single day, outdoors, indoors, didn't matter. I was doing a lot of full body programs now. So a lot of circuits where I kind of learned like what HIIT cardio is versus like list cardio. It was honestly, I think, like my learning curve. Like that was the time where I was learning all about different types of movements, different forms of training. I felt like for me, even when I did just legs and running at the gym, in my mind, I always just thought people did, you do 4 sets, 12 reps, 10 to 12, like, and you just do that, pick like 5 for your leg, and that's all you do. You know, I didn't know that there were things like supersets or trisets or circuits, you know, AMRAPs, all these different things. I had no idea they existed. And then quarantine kind of forced me to do my research to figure out what I could do at home. And it like opened a whole new door of fitness for me. Time goes by, we push. We'll say roughly 2021. Because I feel even though gyms were opening back up, I wasn't always a fan of working out with my mask. So I was kind of going to the gym again, but I still was kind of sticking to my home workouts. Also because I felt almost a sense of comfort of working out at home. I was kind of scared that I was gonna just jump back to my old ways when I got back to the gym, and that was terrifying. But eventually we transitioned all the way back into the gym, and once again it was a lot more learning. So I started really incorporating like upper body training now. This is when I actually started incorporating supersets into my workout. I was learning about how, you know, for the best muscle growth, you know, how much protein and stuff I should be eating, what should I be eating. Definitely the time where like I was learning about like every 2 weeks we should be like increasing our weight and pushing ourselves and stuff like that. So I felt like it was still a big learning curve in 2021, but now it was learning actually in the gym instead of just like learning at home and only being able to do so much. 2022, I think for the fact that like we had quarantine and I was trying to transition back to the gym, I constantly was falling off. I would be like super consistent, like upping my weight every 2 weeks, get my protein in for like 3 straight months. And then I'd randomly just like fall off, and I'd be like off for a couple weeks, and then I'd randomly like, okay, I need to get back to the gym. It wasn't as consistent as I would have wanted to be, but I think the positive part of it was I always eventually did end up getting back to the gym. I didn't fall off for like a whole year, but it still was this thing of like, okay, I just like was off for like a whole month. Like that's a lot. Thinking like, why was I always just falling off at the gym? Like I was being so consistent, I was lifting heavy, and for some reason I just always felt so bored. I was bored, even though like my heart rate might be up and I might be sweating. Like I was just not really into the workouts at all. Like I did the workout, but it was almost like like I was so unsatisfied. It was like, okay, I came because I had to come, not because I really wanted to come anymore. I would just always fall off. It was like, okay, I'm good for 3 months. All right, whatever. I'm over this. Like I'm bored. I'm tired of it. So 2023, I think like just all the life changes of I graduated college in 2022, and then we had, you know, like moving and starting a new job, my first full-time job, and you know, all these big changes, I felt like almost motivated me to kind of look at my fitness too and think like, okay, like what can I do to change this, because obviously this isn't working. I really started including a lot of circuits, a lot of HIIT, a lot of AMRAPs, really switching the way I train completely, trying to keep myself on my toes more, I guess, during my workout, not allowing myself to constantly be taking these long breaks in between sets and stuff like that. And I think that's honestly when I absolutely fell in love with working out. I felt like I finally just found something that worked for me, and that was the time I was honestly the most consistent. 2022 into 2023, so consistent. I literally don't even think, like I can't even think of a time of like me possibly taking a long period of time off. It honestly was my best time. And then I actually ended up taking CrossFit. And that is when I think my fitness journey really hit a peak for me. I always watched CrossFit since like 2019. I always thought it was so cool. And I know people like talk crap about CrossFit, yada, yada, yada. But for someone like me who was feeling so bored in the gym, and I myself was already incorporating AMRAPs and circuits and stuff like that, I think to then transition into CrossFit, which included a lot of that, was exactly what I needed. To start learning so many new lifts. I loved learning new things. That was the biggest thing about quarantine that changed my fitness career, was I was learning so many new things, and I loved learning new things. So then CrossFit gave me that opportunity where I'm not only about to have a great training session that's high intensity, just how I like it, but I'm also having someone here teaching me all these new things, whether it was like a pull-up, snatches, you know, like you had like climbing ropes. Like when I first climbed the rope, I was so excited. It was like the coolest thing ever to me. Not everybody can train like a bodybuilder. Not everybody can train like a power lifter. You have to find what works for you. You know, like I said, things happen, and basically what happened, we ended up going to live in another country, kind of in a new space. I wasn't really working out. I would occasionally go to a gym. It was, I don't want to say hard for us, but it was something completely new. You know, it was our first year ever doing this overseas basketball life. And, you know, at the same time, I was starting my master's program online. So it was once again just a lot of new life changes. And I felt like this just kind of put like a hole when it came to all my fitness stuff, you know, and it ended up turning into 4 whole months of me not working out, which became really hard for myself because I started just thinking back like, wow, like this is how it was in like 2021. Had the best fitness year of my life, and then I just took 4 months off. So it was so hard to just adjust to kind of like accept, and then to just physically see yourself in the mirror and wow, I lost a lot of my muscle. Like all my hard work is just gone. And I think that was the hardest part. Was I've never seen my body look the way it did in that past year when it came to like muscle gains and stuff like that. I've never seen the definition in my back or upper body like that in my entire life. So it was like to see all that just disappear was so difficult. Having to transition into a new start again when we ended up coming here to Turkey. So now once again, it's like, okay, 4 months off from the gym because you had all these life changes. Okay, well now we're gonna have another big moment in your life where things are gonna be changing. And you know, now once again, we're in a whole different country, completely different culture again, you know. Luckily enough, this time around, I had a gym in the apartment we're in. So it was sort of like, okay, finally back to the thing that I love, the thing that like I just like needed in my life almost. Like I loved the gym and it was honestly something that I just felt was missing. March was month 1 of like getting back into the gym, and it was not easy at all. Time around, like it was completely different for the fact that this time of going back to the gym compared to back in 2021 when I would have to do this is my knowledge. Knew so much more in March going back into my fitness journey than when I was like back in 2021. Definitely was not easy. I was sore for like 2 weeks straight. I wasn't even doing anything crazy that first month. I would say month 1, my goal was to get back into the gym, of course, but it also was just kind of seeing where I was at. I did not train how I trained back in the fall of 2023 last year. I knew if I tried to do that, I definitely would have, like, I would have been dead. And I kind of took the whole first month of just slowly easing back into it. So it was not my normal style of training. I didn't really do any circuits, AMRAPs, not a lot of HIIT, just getting my steps in. All right, let's do some basic movements with some light weight. We are here in April. We're going back home in a few weeks and in May, you know, like this is the perfect time to kind of slowly start transitioning back into my old style of training. So I feel like I'm kind of mixing what I've learned and know from CrossFit and kind of like adapting that and mixing that with how I was training as well on my own before these 4 months, and kind of just starting this new workout split. And I'm using April to kind of test it, kind of see how I feel, what I kind of want to change around and mess around with, so that way when I do get back home in May, like I already know exactly what my split's gonna be, exactly what I want it to look like for the summer and everything like that. So I am sticking to a lower body focus day, an upper body focus day, a full body focus day, so 3 big lifting days, and then a low intensity cardio day and a high intensity cardio day. And that is my main 5-day split. I'm trying to have this like active type of rest day where I'm using this to kind of work on some sort of movement or goal that I really want to get. So for example, right now, my biggest ones are my L-sit and my handstand. And I feel like that's perfect for an active rest day because I don't need any weights. I don't need to actually go to the gym. It's something that I could do right at home and practice. Those are my current, I say current because like I said, for this month, it's kind of just me working through and figuring out what I want to do. But right now, so far, saying it's the 18th, so we're kind of through April enough. It is really nice. I'm really loving it. Yeah, I really hope some of you guys could either relate to some of the things that I shared. Maybe you've been in the same boat, or you currently are in the same boat as something I've been through. And I'm just really excited to kind of, you know, make more videos on my fitness journey. Thank you so much if you tuned into this. All right, peace.